Last week we shared wiring up our DC power and successfully running our 12-volt lights and fans off of our Battle-Born GC3 batteries. According to this, if we were to keep our lights and our max fan, all the 12-volt DC that we have right now, we could keep powering them for 2 days and 14 hours until the batteries would be depleted. We also shared how I was diagnosed with uterine fibroids and am waiting to receive a surgery date. This week we're focused on getting our inverters connected so we can turn on our house power.
We should have power to this.
I have never seen Dawn so excited to vacuum before in my life. We're Mela and Dawn.
We uprooted our lives and left Los Angeles
With the dream of converting an MCI D3 40-foot bus into a tiny home on wheels. We are sharing our progress.
one bite at a time.
What?
How to eat an elephant one bite at a time. There's a couple places that need attention in the bedroom, and we gotta get the wiring for our outlets that are gonna be in our night side tower 1 and 2. This will give us power, charge phones. This will give us some light switches so we can turn some lights that'll be up in this area. In order to get those ready, I need to build out a little faux cover faceplate, and gotta get the measurements for that. Make it happen. Alright, I got these little cover things done. Once the outlet covers go over, the edges get hidden and it should look nice. So I'm not going to screw them together because I'm going to wait till we get the wired outlets wired up and the switches wired up. After all of that is assembled, then I'm going to screw them in place.
Don and his dad are busy working on electric, and it's been good for me because they've been working on electric and I've had time to get a bunch of things done that I just want to get done before the surgery. And I haven't been in the bus though for quite a few days, and I'm itching to get my hands back on some bus work. So I'm coming back to our bedroom. Don's birthday is coming up and his brothers are gonna come and stay. So we decided we should get back in here and finish up a few little things at least so that we can sleep in the bus while his brothers come to visit. There's been a few little things that have happened in here. Ended up having to fill in some holes. So I'm going to sand down those holes again. And I will, once everything is sanded down, I'm gonna come back in here and get paint back on. Don has been working on creating the faceplates and finalizing the electric here in our bedroom towers.
Now, I'm no cable expert, but there's a few things I've learned while doing this over and over, trying to get the best crimps, cleanest cuts that we can. We've got to have your jack reset right, and that's this little thing here turns the height of your actual blade in there. And then the other thing is you got to turn it the right direction. If you're going this way, it's not going to cut. If you go against it, it's going to cut. The other thing that I've learned is gotta put your heat shrink on first, because I don't have heat shrink that's big enough to go over the lugs. So if I don't put this on here and here, ready to get shrink wrapped once I got everything crimped, then I can't get shrink wrap on it, and you don't want that. You don't want exposed wires. As far as learning about the crimping process, the crimper that we've got, it's a cheap hydraulic crimper. Now if you're looking around on Amazon right now to try to find one of these for yourself, they have them in yellow and blue. They're both the same model, but I'll include a link to the one that we picked up. But before you get that crimp going, you got to get all of your cables, all the little strands inside. You got to do it nicely so none of them are sticking out. Sometimes you get lucky and it just works. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 tries. Another thing to do is make sure you get the closest size for your shrink fit and let it cool before you touch it. The heat gun is hot, and these are metal. They conduct heat really well, like they conduct electricity really well, which is why you use them. Look, you came to see how my electric is going. What do you think? Am I doing an okay job? Now, for the easiest way for me to wrap my head around doing this whole electrical panel has literally been to put the pieces in place. I did a rough mock-up in the computer for getting an idea for spacing, where everything could fit, how it might work. But really, once you're in here working on the space, you got to think about the wires. It makes more sense to me to just wire something in, stick it up against the wall, and see where a good place to mount it would be, and then from there measure my next wire. Another tip I've learned while working on this system is every time you take out a screw for a faceplate, if there's a place it can go to get screwed back in, put it back in right away so you don't lose it. Bella's class is finished. Let's go in and check and see how her first class in her studio went. Your first class in the studio.
That was amazing. It felt so good. I love this. Great.
Yeah, you happy with it?
Yes.
Good.
Sweaty.
Yeah. For installing our multi-plus inverters, it's recommended that we use a case ground, going from the case of the unit all the way to chassis ground. They recommend in the manual that you use no smaller than 1 step wire below what you used for your main line and negative inputs. So we used 4/0 for going into the box from the power and the batteries. We'll be using 3/0 to go from the cases to the chassis ground.
Thanks to everyone who's asked questions about our battery and solar setup. We will be doing a complete walkthrough and tour of our electrical system in the next few weeks. For now, we will include a link over to our resources page on our blog, where we share a list of all the components that make up our system, as well as details on what we have learned and how we installed and connected our electrical setup. Good morning. I'm in the bus this morning getting ready to do a Pilates workout on the Pilates tower with my friends. We're just joining each other on Zoom to work out together because friends make it more fun. And I just found out my surgery date, and I'm feeling so relieved just to have it set It's a little further away than I wanted it to be, but it's okay. I've got a little over a month now to prepare. I at least know when it's going to be and how to prepare for that, what work I can get done before then. So just can't explain to you the weight that has been lifted off my chest just knowing that date. So let's work out.
Okay, heading out this morning to work on the bus here. Unfortunately, we had a storm. We didn't take down our little shade tent. And now I need to spend some time working on the shade tent before I do anything else. Now, this wasn't too big of a surprise because we had kept this broken pop-up tent that my aunt and uncle had let us borrow, and it got rained on and destroyed, just to keep the tarp. Luckily, we kept the whole structure aside. I'm going to be able to repair it just to get us through this side of the electrical build, but I'm not sure if we'll be able to use it again after that. I'm going to go ahead and cut some of these treated 2x4s to make stand-in legs, just to keep it up for us to finish this project.
Dragging today. I'm so tired for a few different reasons, but gotta keep going. First job of the day, I'm going into the bathroom, and that little piece of trim work we're going to stain so that it looks like trim work on this side of the bus. That's where I'm going to start, and then I've got a couple boxes to stain as well, and by that time I think it will be too hot to do anything outside. So August is a tough month here. It's a tough month.
No matter where I go, when I am far away from here, I hope you always know my love for you is so sincere.
Would have liked to stain this before I went up, but that didn't happen. So hopefully I don't drip the stain all the way down the white wall. That was a pain in the butt to paint. I used the tiniest paintbrush because I was scared if I used a bigger one I was gonna make a mess. So it took a little while, but I think it looks good. And now I'm gonna go paint the boxes for the bathroom. So I've got a toe cake box and the medicine cabinet box, and both of these are gonna get stained that same dark espresso color. So I'll just give it a quick sand. The stain looks so different on the birch wood than the cheap plywood. I much prefer it on the cheap plywood. I'm not really a huge fan of it on the birch. These are kind of not really seam parts, and I think it's gonna serve its function. It'll just be a dark area that won't get dirty by being white as a toe kick. So I think it'll work. And it is super hot now. You can see how humid it is by my hair getting all crazy. So it's time to go in, shower, get some lunch. We have a cousin Corey here today. He's gonna help us connect our Ethernet cables so everything can talk to each other.
Good. I'm a little nervous. These cables ain't cheap. For our Mac network, we're running Ethernet 7 cables. And then for all of our electrical system, regular Cat5 cables. It's coming out right there.
A lot of this wiring is all going to be hidden in like kitchen cabinets, and we have conduit set up for the wires to run through. The trickiest place is this piece of conduit that runs behind our shower. Went through there pretty easy, and then again in the bedroom it's running through the cabinets, and the trickiest part is now to run behind our mini split.
There's one more cable I wanted to run, just a regular Cat5 cable. Should we go ahead and run it over here?
It's going, where's that same?
So we're gonna have two workstations in the bus. One is right up front here where it'll be our TV plus a standing desk, and we are connecting that computer in the front to our main computer that's gonna be all the way in the back here in the bedroom, which we call like Don's desk. So we're running the cable from the front computer to the back one.
There we go.
Wasn't there a second cable? Oh, you got it?
Yeah, let's get them both going.
Great.
So the boot goes on first. Good shielded cable there. So that's a ground that's in there. Each set of pairs is shielded separately by itself. That's Cat7. There's your Cat7 connector, and there's a Cat6 AA.
Okay.
They're a little different. And if you don't do this every day, you have a cheat sheet in here.
Okay.
And then each pair is twisted around, so you've got to untwist those.
This must be a hard job to do if you're colorblind.
Yes. And just by wiggling them around, straightens them out. So we don't have two of the pairs. Wah, wah, wah.
Oh no.
So we've got two pairs that aren't connecting.
So now you're just threading it from the back to the front?
So basically we're now running a networking cable to go from our Servo GX, which is the brains for all of our electrical system. Basically our cable here goes to the network, and our network will be connected to the internet. That way we'll always be able to connect to the brains of our electrical system, no matter where we're at, through our phones. And we'll even be able to have some kind of switching, so we can turn a fan on and off or a light on and off remotely, all because of the way the Victron Servo GX is set up. One down. For all our networking cables, we've got some flexible conduit right here. It's a split conduit, so it opens up. And the reason I want to use this is just so that those Cat5 cables don't rub on the floor.
I think he's talking to himself.
Okay, snake that first one down for me. Stop there. Okay, that's good for that one. Push a little more on the floor. So we, and by we I mean Corey, has got the cables connect to our multi-plus inverters as well as our MPPT controllers.
There it is. That one. Excellent. I've ever seen. As long as you can distinguish it from
From two?
yeah.
connect up in here. All right, Mello, would you like to turn a light on over there? And then we can turn them off over here. And then you can turn it back on over there. And I can turn it off over here. And we can just do that all day. Well, I get the frame on there. It's super solid. Now that I got our breaker box super secure to the wall, it's time to run AC wires for alternating current into the breaker box from an inverter. And then we'll actually have power up in the bus. And so I'm at that point. I'm ready to connect my AC1 out on my inverter. I'm gonna hook it up here. I'm going to hook it up in my breaker box next. Now this is probably a great time to say, I do not recommend you do your own electricity. This is not a tutorial. I'm not an electrician. I've been studying and learning and asking questions for a couple years now to get to this point. And it's got a good learning curve. There's a lot going on here. So if you're not comfortable, if you don't feel great about doing your own system install, hire a professional. The other thing I'm doing is wiring up a connector from my RJ45 Ethernet port to a cable to run into my VE bus smart dongle, and this way we'll be able to access this inverter from our phone, take a look at it, see what it has to say about what it's doing. I'm just going to temporarily mount the servo up in this area so that we can hook everything into it and start to fire it up.
It feels and it looks like it's about to start raining, so.
It's just about to storm, so let's see how good our solar panels do with water on them from the rain last night and the storm clouds. Okay, let's go inside and see if it's working. Alright, so now I'm going to double check to make sure we got power coming in. 119. Oh, that's good. The power in. So then I turn this one on. We should have power to this one. 119. So then I flip this. Alright, so now we've got a dummy cord on the fuse that I've turned on. And if we have vacuum from this, we can vacuum from our Battleborn batteries.
I have never seen Don so excited to vacuum before in my life.
So with our vacuum running full suck off of our batteries, we could vacuum for a day and a half off of our batteries, even in the dark, because it's getting stormy outside. This is exciting. Partially, you can tell the temperature isn't nearly as warm as it's been the last 2 weeks, because I'm actually able to emote some happiness, and this is definitely a moment to emote. I'm so happy. We're gonna be able to build our kitchen with the air conditioning on.
Oh, it's gonna be like a whole new experience. We have crossed a landmark on our journey of making our tiny home dreams a reality. Our solar panels converting the sun's rays into power. Our DC power connected to our lights and fans. An inverter wired up and running current to our breaker box. And at the center of our system, making this all possible, are Battleborn GC3 batteries. Huge thanks to Battleborn for partnering with us and helping make this happen. We will include a link to our resources page with details about our electrical system in the description below. Don is turning 50 soon. What he'd really like to do for his birthday is go away on a vacation, but the bus isn't quite ready for that yet. So we have something else planned. His brothers are coming into town, we're gonna have some good times here, and we're moving into the bus for a week.
How you doing over there?
I'm happy. But we'll share that with you next time.